Yo, what is good? My anime faithful, what is good? Yo, guys, Blade of the Immortal. It took a while to come back. I think I feel like 2 weeks now, man. But it is here, and it is so brutally beautiful that I think a lot of us can agree we all wanted this outcome to happen to a certain somebody, and I got the outcome I wanted, so I'm happy. But with that being said, someone in this show has really gone through it all, and that being our main girl, Reen, who's this week's episode they actually are labeling as dead, deceased. Like she actually lost her life in this week's episode, which would actually make a lot of sense if it did happen, but let's just be honest and say that she's alive, right? There's no way they actually killed her off. But at the same time, it would make sense because, she's in freezing temperatures. The only way to like really save her life at that point is to somehow uh, bring up her temperature extremely quickly. Not only that, she's probably ridiculously sick. Just so much happens to her in this 1 week's episode by being in the position she was in. Not only that, then psychological damage as well with the boys she wanted to protect from this type of world. Being the one that's straight up watching over her and making sure she doesn't get away in any shape or form, which is pretty messed up at the end of the day because we all know she didn't mean anything by what she did. It's just the fact of the matter that that's just how it goes, right? Like you can't you can't expect good things to happen to people that you lied to. And we pretty much saw that this week that everything she practically was trying to set up or wanted to set up just wound up blowing back up in her face at the end of the day, which definitely gotta suck. But at the same time, like I said, it just goes to show you how far everything has come from doing one thing to one person to that person then being an enemy or someone that you should have not taken any pity on because of the situation you get into afterwards, right? So that's kind of the crazy part that's popping off here, and the part of the show that actually has me very, very just interested in why and what is going to come for the end game of the characters, right? Because, like I said, our girl has gone through it and she's still going through it. So, if she were to even get anything she wanted out of all this stuff that's popping off, will she be happy? Will she even be alive to know what's, all happened? Because if uh, Maji-san actually, knows that she's lost and stuff like that and gone, it's cool that he actually snaps out and just goes ham in this battle, but I think his meaning of yes, she died or he's like, what happened to the girl? And he's like, I couldn't save her. And we all know that someone else jumped into the water to save her. So he didn't save her, right? Someone else did, which is kind of what he alluded to. I mean, being her mercenary and being the person that's supposed to be the one that saves her, definitely gotta cut a little bit deep, right? Like, you did all this work with her all this time, and now you're in a position to save her life again, and you can't do that because of the situation and because of just your incapability of not even having an arm and still trying to save someone who's underwater with a rock tied to her leg. So I really did like this episode, mainly because of the in-game battle of the guy that I truly, truly thought it needed to be done with a while ago being taken care of. So that was nice to see. Um, but yeah, as a whole, he died pretty brutal, man. Like that, I no. He could have died way easier, but the show was like, you guys wanted it. You guys get it. He's dying in one of the worst way possible imagined. And that way being straight up just eaten by rabid dogs after being completely unable to move or even use a weapon. He's been completely immobilized, and now dogs come and handle the rest, which he couldn't feel pain for like a while, but all of a sudden when the dog started biting him and eating on him, he felt something that didn't feel good, right? So that's the type of stuff I'm talking about with this show is everybody seems to get what they deserve, and the person who deserves some pretty bad stuff is our main characters for everything they kind of been putting other people through just so they can get their own life destinations handled and stuff like that. So take that as you will. I definitely have seen quite a bit of shows where this like intensive killing and stuff like that is what it's all about, but I've never watched one like this where there's other stories behind it that have already been out and I have no idea how those stories end. And now I'm watching this end like it's the first time I've ever seen the series, because it is. So I have a lot of extra stuff I get to go watch after this stuff ends, and that's what I'm waiting for. But with all the breaks and whatnot in between, it's getting kind of hard to know when this show's going to end because it just kind of takes its time to come out at certain points from here on out. But it looked amazing this week, animation wise. It felt pretty heavy, like a lot of things were at its end, as you can say, because not only did our guy that I wanted to be out of the show do everything he pretty much does in a day-to-day basis, right? Like he does what he loves to do, and he gets to do it in this week's episode all the way to the end, pretty much where he has the kid watching him being like devoured alive, but the kid's smart enough to be like, nah, bro, like I gotta get out of here. Not only are these dogs here to eat you, but if they see me here, they're gonna think I'm competition, and either that or just more food. Which the nastiest part is those worms that are inside of him. Does that mean we just created like semi-half, like mortal dogs, right? Like, the whole thing about his immortality was the fact that it was only coming from Maji-san's left arm, or like his arm in general. So whenever he was taking all this damage over and over and over again, it was rebuilding him, but it was leaving that arm to go to other places, thus making the immortality spread thinner and thinner. So his rejuvenating ability was dying slowly while he was taking too much damage. Hence why he gets his eye removed and the eye just doesn't come back and get replaced, because after all the damage he's already sustained, the worms are all over the place trying to heal and not healing quickly, as a body that is filled with the worms in every single limb in all of his body to take care of its own position, not just leave one position to try to help all the others. So pretty smart way of playing on this whole immortality build stuff and like that, and even just how far he goes to really solve the case of taking this guy down is ridiculous. We know there's so many fights to come in this show that people just aren't going to be able to walk away from. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, is how does this show end and why does it end the way it's going to end. So I can't wait to see, and I hope to hear from you guys in the comments, or just see that you guys are watching and enjoy, and let me know what you're feeling about all this. I choose an immortal pretty much who should have been able to, he pretty much is immortal the way how long he lives, longer than humans and everything like that. So usually when I pick characters, I try to go with the story of what I'm talking about. And Thanos is ridiculously old, almost immortal. When it comes down to human life, he is immortal because he lives so long. So I hope to hear from you guys very soon, and I'm your boy, the Anime G, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.